What a day, what a time. Welcome to the loneliest talk show in the entire world, certainly on the internet. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Hope everybody's doing great. I'm glad that you're all here with us on YouTube/NotSam. I hope by now that you're all subscribed. If you're not, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash the like. Make sure you're sitting there in the comments section doing everything that one requests one to do when they've got YouTube shows. Good news or bad news, depending on your perspective, no hot dog tonight. When I say lonely, I mean lonely. It's as lonely as it gets, but are we ever really lonely? I mean, look at this. I got this in the mail this week. This is from a gentleman named Mr. DL. That's Mr. with a Y. You can get him on Instagram. He's been a day one Sam Roberts Now supporter. And he sent, this is drawn. This is not like drawn on an iPad or like computer animated or stuff. This is like, I think paint pens or something, but this is like hand drawn and it's every great Simpsons character. I don't know why I like all the really pathetic Simpsons characters. Maybe I just see myself in them, but like Wendell, Milhouse's dad, Gil is probably my favorite of all time. But look, this will have a place of very high esteem here in the Not Sam studio for some time to come. I don't have a frame for it, so I'm just going to throw it on the floor at the moment, but I'm telling you, it will have a place that I will hold in very high regard. So much going on, so much to talk about tonight. I'm glad you're here. Of course, you know that the only rule of Sam Roberts Now is that every super chat gets read. So if there's something that you feel absolutely needs to be addressed on the air, super chat it in, and I will read it at some point tonight. But as I was getting things together, I watched it last night when it was on live, but I was dozing. It was late at night, especially here on the East Coast. But I was watching the Kanye and Drake show again. Amazon, I was really worried that Amazon was, I mean, when I say really worried, like of all the things going on in the world, even of all the things going on directly in my life, this was fairly low on the list of things that I was actually worried about. But there was a moment of concern in my day today when I wondered if this would only be a live experience. But Jeff Bezos got the deal done. I don't know how he got the deal done. He must have paid a pretty penny. But he got the deal done. Kanye West and Drake joined forces last night and put on a concert in Los Angeles to raise awareness for Larry Hoover, who is a gentleman that Kanye West has been trying to get out of jail for some time. This is who Kanye West actually went to Donald Trump when he had that meeting with Trump, when Trump was president. And everybody was like, what's he doing in there? He was trying to get Larry Hoover out of jail. And he's still trying to get Larry Hoover out of jail. I just think that there's probably an audience that is more perceptive to supporting a cause when you have Drake on your team as opposed to President Trump. Although President Trump did have the power with one stroke of a pen to get Larry Hoover out of jail. And he didn't do it. Kanye West must have been so pissed about all those goddamn red hats. That's a lot of hats to return when Trump doesn't do the right thing. But regardless, the right thing was done. Kanye and Drake come together. And I'm not a hip-hop historian, but I do know that there has been tension between Kanye West and Drake for some time. And my understanding, and again, I'm not the authority on the matter, but my understanding is that the rivalry between Kanye West and Drake boils down to Kanye feeling that Drake in his lyrics makes references to having sex with Kanye West's wife at the time. That is generally why Kanye West and Drake were not friends, because Drake kept inferring that he had sex with Kanye's wife. And I will tell you, people say that Kanye West is crazy. But if I'm a public figure and I'm friends with a public figure, and that public figure is going around saying but not saying that he had sex with my wife, I'm not going to be friends with that guy either. It's hard to blame Kanye West. Sometimes these celebrity beefs seem so convoluted and so complicated. It's almost trivial. But when Kanye's like, look, the reason Drake and me don't get along is because I think he's talking about having sex with my wife on a lot of his songs. And it rubs me the wrong way. And Drake going like, well, I don't know. I'm not saying I was talking about that.
But I'm not saying I wasn't.
That, I could see where a rivalry would spawn. But that rivalry was put aside. Maybe because Kanye West divorced Kim Kardashian or separated from Kim Kardashian. I don't know if they're divorced or not. Maybe it's because Kanye realized there are worse things than Drake having sex with your wife. Like Pete Davidson having sex with your wife. But whatever it was, Kanye West and Drake were able to get back together and bring their friendship forward for a good cause. And last night they took the stage. And here's the way I think it went down. Because obviously, this is being painted as well. They were raising awareness for a very, very important cause to both of them. And they wanted to put their beef aside anyway, and they have such great respect for each other that this was the perfect opportunity to do it. And I believe all of it. Every single thing. I believe everything I hear on television. But I believe specifically that. Here's what else I think happened. Because I'm watching this, right? And I've been a Kanye West fan specifically for a long time. I like Drake a lot. But I have been a Kanye West fan from the very beginning. I was in college wanting to drop out when the College Dropout came out. I didn't have the balls to drop out, but I did sing along with the album, going like, "Yeah, I can drop out." I mean, there were a lot of things that I wouldn't have done. But when you feel empowered when the song's on, I was right there. I was in the pocket. When Through the Wire came on, I would sing along as if my jaws were actually wired shut. I've never had my jaws wired shut. But, it was a time, 50 Cent was getting hot, too. It was like on one end, you had 50 Cent that's like, I've been shot 7 times. Here's my album. And it's like, that's a lot of credibility. And then Kanye West shows up and he's like, well, I haven't been shot that many times, but my lead single off this album, I sang with my jaws wired shut. I'm like, these are such credible people. You don't see that anymore. So I've been a fan of Kanye West for a long time. But what's happened recently is he has found the Lord and embraced the Lord. He always kind of had found the Lord. Jesus Walks was a huge single off the College Dropout. But he really, really, really found the Lord recently. And, you watch these Sunday services, and every now there's like a cool, organ remix of one of the singles or something that but it's not exactly the same, right? Like you're not when you watch those, like they're more gospel-y. They're more following what Kanye West wants to do now. And even when he puts out albums, like he just put out an album called Donda that's got 39,000 tracks on it, and it's about 6 hours long. If you pick through it, you can find some absolute gems, but it's going to take you some time. You're going to do some digging. Something changed in Kanye last night, where Kanye decided, because I'd always said, I'm like, look, people hate Kanye West, and people think he's nuts, and people don't like the things that he said politically. And there's so much that people don't like about this guy. They think he's obnoxious. They think he's a lunatic. But as long as he's putting out singles, as long as he's putting out fire, as long as he's putting out something you can tap your toe to, everybody's kind of okay with it. It's when you can't tap your toe that you start realizing, oh man, this guy gets on my nerves. People can get on your nerves if they can make you tap your toe. And it seemed for a minute like Kanye had forgotten that. And something happened last night where he goes out on that stage and he decides, I'm going to play all the singles. I mean, the stuff that he was doing on that stage last night, it was just banger, 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 banger. He did All Day. He did Black Skinheads, Runaway. I love Runaway. Anything off 808s, anything off Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. There's so much. They ended the show with Drake and Kanye coming together to do Forever. Last name ever, first name greatest. It was amazing. It was an amazing show. I loved every bit of it. Drake came out and did all his singles. But what I noticed had happened, right? And I figured this out as I'm watching halfway, not even halfway, probably like 3 songs into Kanye's set. When he hit Jesus Walks as like his second song, and then he just kept going single, 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 number one, number one, number one, number one. I said, I know exactly what happened. I believe that Kanye wanted to raise awareness for Larry Hoover. I believe it, 100%. He's been consistent with that for quite some time. I believe that. I believe that Kanye wanted to end the beef with Drake. I believe that. Here's what I think happened. I think Kanye said, yeah, we can kill all those birds. I only have this one stone, but I can kill all these birds with this stone. And when he said, Drake, this is the time. Let's come back together. Let's shock the world. Let's have the superpowers form together. Let's create the Megazord of hip hop. I'll be Tyrannosaurus. You be Triceratops. Drake was like, I think I should be Tyrannosaurus. Kanye's like, we'll figure it out later. Let's create the Megazord. Let's do it, and we'll do it for Larry. And Drake said, okay, we'll do it. Once he got the okay, I believe that Kanye decided to go, okay, well, then here's what I'm going to do. I'll perform first, Drake. That's cool, right? Drake said, yeah, no problem. I believe that Kanye West put out a follow this, you have sex with my wife, son of a bitch, set list that Drake would have to deal with. I believe 100%. And maybe this was all we needed. What do we need to bring back the old Kanye West? What do we need to bring back the guy that's going to start giving us all these heaters? You need somebody like Drake there standing next to him. Because I believe with 100% of my being that Kanye West decided that while every other reason to do this show was important, it was about reminding everybody that he's the fucking man. And he's going to stand next to Drake and just spend an hour doing beloved singles that Drake will have to follow. Now, if anybody can follow this, it's Drake. Because then Drake starts coming out and just starts going banger, 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 banger. And like, you can see it. You can see it. As much as they're like, no. This is, we're together here. We're cohabitating on this stage. We're friends again. We're doing this for y'all. We're getting along. No. The competition was fierce. Kanye West said, I'm going to play every single number one song that I have for that have sex with my wife, son of a bitch to follow. And Drake did. And it made for a hell of a show. I wish every co-headlining show one of the acts had claimed that he had sex with the other act's wife. Because apparently, you're just going to get heaters when that goes down. It was great. I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm so glad. Like, look, I see Uberku. He says, I don't know any Drake or Kanye West songs. If you don't like Drake or Kanye West, this was not one of those shows that like is going to go beyond the artist, right? Like, that's what I never understand. People go like this. I'll go like, oh man, that Drake Kanye West show was amazing. They go like, no, it's not. It sucked. I go, how do you figure? And they're like, well, because Kanye West sucks. And I'm like, okay, like, if you don't like the artist performing, then this is probably not going to be the show for you. I would hope if you don't like any Kanye West or Drake songs, that you're not going on Amazon Prime and clicking the little box that says Drake and Kanye West in big letters. That would probably be my suggestion. This is more of a conversation to have as somebody who's a fan that goes like, I don't like this, but I really like this. If you're like, well, I'm not a fan, then I go, okay, well, you've lost the nuance of this conversation. Listen to how excited Kanye was at the show last night. Hang on, I'm gonna boost this volume a little bit because I don't want you guys to miss it. I think this is the one. Okay. I love when those octaves get shifted. Now keep your hands up. I can't even get there. I don't have it. I used to have it. When I was a younger man, I had it. Apparently my balls dropped at some point. Oh, I was like, whoa. I loved it. I appreciated the authenticity of it. This guy is happy to be there. That's the sound of excitement. Computer just cut out. That's a Jamie Lee Curtis level scream on Kanye. Man. Loved it. Loved it. Congratulations, Drake and Kanye. Together again. I don't believe the sex with the wife rumors anyway. I think that it was made up. I'll tell you it's not made up. Our old pal, Pat McAfee, star of sports media. This is a guy who has spent the last 3 weeks making headlines everywhere that he goes. He's at the center of the Aaron Rodgers COVID scandal. And just as that's dying down, he steps forward to say, oh, I've gone ahead and figured out how to make 9 figures doing a YouTube show. Podcasting, just doing my thing. I figured out how to make 9 figures doing my thing. Pat McAfee announced yesterday. You know, Pat does the Pat McAfee show. You know, he's on SmackDown. He's been on NXT pre-shows with me. He's been inside the War Games cage. Pat McAfee is a hell of a man. He's a hell of an individual. And when he puts his mind to something, my God, does he get this done. Apparently on this evening, he put his mind to a lot of denim. And he got it done. But when Pat McAfee decides it's time to shake things up, he decides. I mean, you got to respect. A lot of people will say that they're not afraid to quit a job. Pat McAfee quit the NFL, then quit Barstool Sports, and I know twice that I'm aware of, he's almost quit WWE. He doesn't care. He has a vision, and he would like to follow that vision. And Pat McAfee has followed his vision with the people around him, the great team he's got around him, to the tune of $120 million. This is a story that people have to pay attention to. This is a story that people should be watching. Pat went out there. He probably figured after he got out of the NFL that before too long he'd be doing commentary. He'd be on Monday Night Football as the color man. He's an entertaining guy behind a microphone. He's got an expertise when it comes to the game. I mean, he's beloved. People love him. He's got a great fan base. Why wouldn't you? Well, for some reason, the networks didn't. So Pat said, okay, we're going to do this podcast. And he started the podcast. And he said, you know what? There's too much going on here for me to let somebody loom over me. Let's make this completely independent. So Pat McAfee took his guys and made the Pat McAfee Show a completely independent entity. It's a show that is on YouTube every single day. Gets, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of live viewers, hundreds of thousands of total viewers regularly. The audio parts on SiriusXM, he's just cutting deals. And he let the world know he had something cooking. And he announced what it was that he had cooking. What he had cooking was that FanDuel, the betting thing, I don't know anything about it because they haven't paid me. FanDuel has decided that they want to be partners with the Pat McAfee Show. FanDuel says, Pat, we get you. We like you. We want to be a part of this thing. And he goes, how badly? And they go, $120 million badly. Apparently, that's what we're talking about here. A 4-year deal is signed. I think he said, there's an opt-out option at 3 years, but I don't know why you'd opt out. This sounds like a pretty sweet deal. A 4-year deal is signed that reportedly pays the Pat McAfee Show, which means the whole staff and everything, but, it's not like it's the only source of income. All the sources of income besides FanDuel, YouTube ad revenue, SiriusXM revenue, merchandise revenue, revenue from other sponsors, all that revenue still comes in. It's just now they never have to worry about anything again because FanDuel has decided that they would like to become the exclusive sports book of the Pat McAfee Show. And with that, pay them reportedly $30 million a year for the show for 4 years. Which means that this is the most important part to me, that without a platform, because this is the conversation that you have. Well, what do you mean? Does FanDuel have their own thing? Do you have to go to FanDuel to watch the show? No. This is what makes the deal so great and so unique. That this is not a radio deal. This is not a platform deal. This is not a television deal. It's not ESPN buying up the show and putting them on their network. This is not Spotify buying up the show and putting them exclusively as a Spotify property. This is a company believing in an independent creator and the independent creators team and putting their money behind that. So that Pat, I don't know what happened there. I lost Pat for a second. Let me throw Pat back up there for you. I don't want you guys to lose him. So that Pat now sits pretty and can, for the next 4 years at least, guarantee his staff and himself work at the Pat McAfee show. And what does Pat McAfee do? He goes, the last thing in the world that people want to do is hear about another millionaire. So Pat turns around and he goes, well, what should I do with all this money? And immediately starts handing out millions of dollars, donating millions of dollars. I've been looking out my window because I watched his video and he put a massive check out on the front lawn of his high school and a massive check out on the front lawn of the lacrosse team that's in his town and a massive check outside the children's hospital and a massive check outside the foundation that his former Colts teammate started. Checks on checks on checks. And I looked out into my front yard. I didn't see any big, massive PMI check. I'm assuming it's still coming. Those big checks probably take a long time to mail. Not like they fit into a standard envelope. And knowing Pat, he probably just thought, I'll put the 39 cents on and it should get to him. It won't. It won't. But congratulations to Pat McAfee, not just for the fact that he did the right thing and donated a ton of money to amazing causes. And not just the fact that he's rich. Like, I don't even care that he's rich. A lot of people are very money obsessed. I was thinking about that after we talked about Mr. Beast last week. Like, what's the secret to Mr. Beast's success? He makes videos where people get a lot of money. People are fascinated with getting a lot of money and other people getting a lot of money. If you just put a big cash amount on the screen, people will watch whatever's on the screen. It's an interesting thing to people. I don't know why. It just is. Maybe it's the same reason mukbangs are so popular. You just love to watch somebody eat unhealthy things that you know you shouldn't, but you want to. So, you know you're not going to get this giant sum of money, but still, you want to get as close to it as possible. Maybe I can feel how it feels. I don't know. But what I'm more interested in is finding a way to make the amount of money that allows you to follow your own vision and allows you to do whatever it is that you want to do that supports your vision. Because ultimately, everybody's got a vision. Everybody's got this is what I'd like to do. If I had all the money in the world, here's what I would do. The trick is, how do you get all the money in the world? Pat figured it out. Pat figured it out, and he did it without having to sell his company. He did it without having to make his company exclusive to a platform. Did it without any of this. Now he can just sit there and do the show that he thinks should exist without having to worry about, like, getting a big brand's attention. Where is this going? Do I have to, a lot of people do these shows hoping that somebody picks them up. Oh, I'll do this show and I won't make any money, but eventually somebody will pick it up in a big network or a big sales company or a big something or other. And it's like, it's tough, man. It's tough. I think that when these big money deals get announced, whether it's Howard Stern or Joe Rogan or the, what's your face from Barstool, the Call Her Daddy, people start trying to figure out how to follow that model, right? People start trying to figure out how to make that thing that happened for that content creator, for lack of a better term. How do I make that happen for me? What Pat did was he sees that the world is open to that, right? He sees that those numbers are out there. But instead of trying to mimic somebody else's success, he just says, how do those numbers fit into what I do? I think that the takeaway from this should be that it's a new world. There's not a limit to how one can monetize the stuff that they do. You know? Because this isn't a typical story. This is something that requires explanation. And I think that's great. I think that's the way it should be. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Pat, and I'm excited at the idea that, I mean, the freedom that comes with that, which is getting to do what you want to do. It's amazing. And the fact that he can actually go to sleep at night. A lot of these people get stinking rich. They can't go to sleep at night. They're scumbags. Look how rich they are. There's so many poor people out there. Pat's gone ahead and helped. He's contributed. He's put good into the world. And he had, a conversation about Aaron Rodgers' toes. So a lot to celebrate. A lot to celebrate with Pat. Unfortunately, I mean, for Jussie, less to celebrate for him. Jussie Smollet. The verdict came down yesterday. Shocking. Absolutely shockingly, he was found guilty. He was found guilty. 5 of the 6 charges. I'm impressed that they found 6 charges to charge him with. I'm more impressed that they figured out how to make him be not guilty for 1 of the 6. But that's the way these things work sometimes. Yes, of course, Jussie, we all know the story now. He reported a couple of years ago at this point. It's crazy how long ago it was. He reported that he was attacked in Chicago. That a group of people came and attacked him. 2 people wearing MAGA hats. And they were yelling slurs at him. And they were racist, homophobic slurs that they were yelling with their MAGA hats on. And they put a noose around his neck and then disappeared, ran away. And so many in the nation were like, how can this be happening? Not here. Not now. And then luckily it didn't happen. Not here. Not now. Now I'm not saying it isn't happening. I'm saying this specific one did not happen. I mean, I can't believe he's even, like, how long this has taken. I can't even believe, like, what do you think that they talked about? How could they deliberate on this for more than 3 minutes? We all know what's going on here, right? There was apparently video of a rehearsal for this. There was a check cut to the 2 men that attacked him. The 2 men that attacked him were Nigerian. Were not white MAGA Trump supporters. They were Nigerian gentlemen who didn't support Trump at all. In fact, they supported Jussie. He paid him. There was by check, not even by cash, by check. I don't know how you're smart enough to put together a rehearsal. Like, this is so important that we're going to rehearse it, but it's not so important that I'm going to pay cash. You'd think that the T's would be crossed and the I's would be dotted. That's why we rehearse things, no? Yeah, I mean, even when he was on the stand, the trial did not last very long. I mean, everybody, I think, kind of knew what was up. I think at one point, they were going to drop the charges. Jussie stands up and he acts like that means that he's innocent as opposed to just they're dropping it. And the minute he says, well, I'm glad that the truth has been shown, people were like, well, fuck this. No. We're going to charge him. We're definitely charging him. I mean, he wasted the time. Here's the 2 things that he really did wrong. Completely wasted the time of the Chicago Police Department, who are extraordinarily busy. It's Chicago. And he's made it so now anybody that comes forward with a hate crime publicly is going to have some asshole say, this isn't one of those Smollet things, is it? And you're like, what the fuck? I need this after getting attacked, after having a hate crime committed against me. You know, people who have hate crimes against them should not have more difficulties coming out of this crime. They should have support. And because of this, there's just another obstacle. But, I heard some people going like, well, sentencing happens whenever sentencing does. He's looking at anything between, and this has got to be so stressful. He's looking at anything between a fine and 3 years in jail. If it were up to me, it would 100% be 3 years in jail. Now, I can understand why people did not want to immediately say, nothing about this story made sense from the beginning. Okay, like if you really look at the story, it happened, like he said that he was walking around by himself at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get a Subway sandwich. I'm sorry, but I thought the whole reason somebody becomes a celebrity is so that they don't have to walk around at 2 o'clock in the morning to find a Subway sandwich. I can't imagine achieving the success in life of being one of the main stars of one of the top network dramas in the country, Empire, and you still, at 2 o'clock in the morning, are wandering the wintry streets of Chicago looking for a Subway sandwich. However, he said he was. And for some reason, at 2 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of winter in Chicago, there were just two MAGA supporters walking around with a noose. Looking, I don't know, if they were looking specifically for Jussie Smollet, according to his story, then they must have gotten really lucky, because I don't know how they could have possibly known that this person would be at so from the beginning, it was like, this is weird. Like, I don't understand how this adds up. But you don't want to sit there and call the guy a liar, right? Because here's the other weird thing. Who the hell would lie about this? And why? Why would you lie about this? And it's only gotten weirder since then. Because like a week ago, he took the stand as a witness in his own defense. And still, he declared himself not guilty. He said there was no hoax. He said, there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that's literally being presented in the same room at the same time as you're on the stand going, no, it wasn't me. There was no hoax. What? How can you still be? And then I see like there are people that go like, well, you know what? Now that he has declared himself, now that he's been declared guilty, he hasn't declared himself guilty. Now that he's declared himself guilty, I think that if he admits what he did, we can find forgiveness. And I'm going, bro, if he finally admits what he did, that only begins my line of questioning. Why did you keep lying about this? What did you have going on in your head for 2 years that you thought that there was anybody left that could possibly believe your side of the story? I mean, and he's got a lot of like famous friends too. They're doing like talk shows and stuff, and that are still like, oh, I love him, I hope that's not true, blah, blah, blah. I mean, talk about being an embarrassing friend. Talk about it being tough to defend your buddy. It's insane. No, I think if he finally decides to say, yeah, okay, all right, you got me. I made the whole thing up, and here's why. I'll go, okay, all right. That takes us to 2 years ago. Then why did you go on Robin Roberts and keep lying? Why did you allow your media friends to keep saying things that weren't true to defend you? Why didn't you tip them off to be like, you probably shouldn't be defending me this hard? Why did you wait all this time when the whole story was spelled out as to how completely fake it was? And what did you think was going to happen on the stand? Why did you keep lying? It's so weird. And I don't know, man, maybe I get weirded out by like pathological lying. I just can't wrap my head around it. now all of a sudden, I had not heard this before. Maybe it's because I wasn't paying close enough attention, but people are talking about the possibility of drugs being involved. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's just because nobody can make heads or tails of this thing because it is so weird. You know what else is weird? This has to be the worst courtroom sketch I've ever seen. This is a terrible illustration. I guess that face is okay, but that's not what a body looks like. This is a terrible drawing. This is a great drawing. This is well done. That drawing sucks. You would think that when you have a trial that's as high profile as this, that everybody's talking about, everybody's commenting on, and you're not going to allow cameras in the courtroom? Come on. At least get someone in there that knows how to work a pencil or something. I mean, for God's sakes. Hey, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. We're not even close to done, but I see some super chats coming in. And before I move on to another topic, which I'm about to, I do want to read some of these super topics. Chats, not topics, super chats. And if you super chat in, every single super chat gets read. The Deathless Dogs, by the way, just said the guy's head looks like a potato. I don't know if you're talking about my head or that head, but yeah, that head does look like a potato. It's a terrible drawing. It's a horrible drawing. Super chatted in. Christy Biasso says, you're wearing the same shirt as me? Ugh. That's some PTSD. That's some serious PTSD. The Toy Cheese Cane Sword, thank you for the contribution. Six Crow, Sam, on January 2nd, the Jersey Mike's Daily Sam Roberts Now show be a call-in show. I love that. Yeah, where's Jersey Mike's to give me one of those Pat McAfee deals? I'll take it. I absolutely will. If I can get Jersey Mike's to give me a Pat McAfee deal, I'll get some phones in here, and we will light this son of a bitch up. JD Straight Shot, hi guys, first time, long time. Can we get more intern and Montone hijinks on Jim and Sam in 2022? RIP Kevin Pollak, POG. Look, I just want to get Jim and Sam in 2022. And then we'll talk about Mike Montone and the intern hijinks. Here is Ariel. Did you check out Drunken Peasants? Not yet. I will. Not yet. Come Hunter face. After listening to you and Jim rave about Jersey Mike's, I tried it for the first time, and I have to say, thank you. The chicken Philly is delicious. You're not going to find a better chicken Philly this side of Philadelphia than Jersey Mike's. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Ubrico says, this pic looks like a kindergartner drew it. It's horrible. It's horrible. Man. Well, yeah, one of my, somebody that I've known for actually quite a while was in the trending topics just today. Jim Breuer is out here. Of course, Jim Breuer has never really struck me as much of a political guy. And I like Jim Breuer. Since COVID began, because we had him on Jim and Sam towards the beginning of COVID, and he was already going pretty far off the deep end. And I think that he has spent a lot of time going deep, going real deep. And I guess he was at some Reawaken American faith. It seems like it's like a religious sort of gathering, some kind of convention that he was a performer at, a stand-up. And, Breuer has decided he will not perform in venues that have vaccine mandates on them, which, takes a lot of venues out of the equation. But here he is doing his stand-up that caught people's attention today.
You know what a cockatoo is? A cockatoo. And that's what everyone's become. Little cockatoos staring at the screen. Fact Facts and figures, facts and figures. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci. Trust the science. Trust the science.
I do love that he's making fun of people for blindly trusting what they're told to blindly trust from a large group at a thing called AmericanFaith.com. Yeah, I'm not 100%. I mean, I guess at least when you're a part of the church, they're not trying to trick you into following them, but to do a thing where you're like, big media is just trying to get you to follow them blindly, and here is the pastor that's here to talk to you about God. Okay, all right. That's a choice.
The science. Trust the science. Specialist, numbers going up. One mask, two masks, fascinated, double You know what it comes?
I see, and look, okay, all right, here's the thing. Somebody says Breuer needs to start smoking weed again. Yeah, I think maybe, yeah, Breuer needs to chill out, you know? People, I don't know, like, it's weird because there are a lot of people that would have this point of view that would be like, you know, there's too much politics in comedy right now. And you're like, you can't just pick one side or the other. There's too much politics in comedy. There's too much politics in comedy. Like, you know, like there's this whole thing, right, online where they were like, well, Jim Breuer's not funny. Jim Breuer's not this. Jim Breuer's not that. And it's like, come on. Like, some people were like, oh, he goes from being goat boy to being peacock. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, look, stop right there. I understand if you think that this is way off the deep end. If Breuer's gone full wacko, that's fine. But let's not sit here and try to say that Half-Baked wasn't brilliant, okay? You can't sit around and decide. You can say that, well, I'm so offended about the mask thing that I can't watch Half-Baked anymore. Okay, all right, that's fine. If that's how you feel. I don't feel that way, but that's fine. But if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, man, Half-Baked sucked, and now this sucks too. No. You can't sit there and be like, oh, he went from being stupid on SNL to being stupid at American. No. I will allow the criticisms of this. I will not allow the criticisms of this to paint with the wrong brush the material that he had done before this. No. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. I'll still watch Half-Baked. And by the way, I'll still enjoy some Goat Boy skits. And the minute I get exhausted by any of these conversations. I get any conversations about COVID, any conversations about masks, any conversations about mandates or vaccines. I can't with it anymore. I can't. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Did you get the booster? Doesn't matter. Well, you know, you shouldn't get the booster. Doesn't matter. Shut up. I'm so tired of hearing about it. You know, like, let's not pretend. Of course, there is an agenda that is being pushed with all this stuff that he's talking about. But let's not pretend that everything that he's talking about isn't just also an agenda on the other side that is clearly being pushed. Just because you read it on the internet instead of watching it on CNN does not mean you're not being manipulated. Okay? That's why I find the conversation exhausting. Because somebody read it on the internet, instead of hearing, you know, one of the MSNBC people say it, somehow they're smarter and less manipulated. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. It's too much. There's too much fun to be had. There's still, and people don't believe this, there's still too much fun to be had. And also, okay, and here's what I was thinking too, right? Like sometimes you do look around, you take an inventory. You take an inventory of kind of life and who's got your back, right? And you're like, man, all these people are crazy. All these people are nuts. I got to find the people that agree with me because I'm not crazy. So let me find the people that agree with me. And then I found Bridget. Bridget is she's, I guess, a San Diego resident. And you know, if you've been watching Sam Roberts Now with any regularity, you know that I have been such a tremendous fan of the local meetings. You know that I've been such a tremendous fan of like the school board meetings, the town hall meetings, the stuff that has been everywhere. I'm so glad. I don't know how you're filming these things, but you're not filming the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. But regardless, you are filming these things, and God bless you for it. Because Bridget in San Diego went into this board of supervisors meeting. I would imagine that if Bridget saw Jim Breuer's material, she'd probably be like, that was hilarious. And there's a guy who's saying what needed to be said. Bridget also thinks that this is a good idea to do at a local government meeting as an adult.
Bridget, let's end this emergency. I don't want a lot for Christmas. Just body autonomy. I don't care about the variants because of natural immunity. I just want my freedom now. The Constitution will show us how. Make my dreams come true. In the state of emergency and acknowledge early treatment.
There's more. There's more. Oh, that was just the...
Ivermectin, not just horse paste, and hydroxychloroquine. Vitamin C and vitamin D. Then the zinc and quercetin. I won't wear a useless mask. I don't need to stay at home. And my kids should go to school.
If you wrote this song, you do not have permission to call anything useless. Your idea of what is useless and what is not useless has been thrown out the window. And the moment that she said, and my kids, I said, may God have mercy on their souls. If I found this on the internet, you don't think that those kids' friends found this on the internet? Your mom is showing up to town hall meetings wearing a Santa hat? And I don't know if that's a symbolic gun holster thing or if that's just suspenders. I don't know. That's your mom's?
Yeah, it's my mom's.
That destroys a child. Forget about it. I mean, you know what's more harmful for a kid than wearing a mask to school every day for all 12 years of school? If your mom does that and it's on the internet. This destroys children. And let me tell you something. I mean, they're probably thinking to themselves, these kids, like, okay, we got Christmas break coming up. So hopefully people are going to forget about this after a week. Nobody in that school is forgetting about this. This is the type of thing that lasts through. I don't even think you'll make it through February break. I think even after February break, people will be bringing it up. I think the day you graduate, somebody's going to be asking you, is your mom bringing her Santa hat to graduation? This is bad news.
Chloroquine, vitamin C and vitamin D, and the zinc and quercetin. I won't wear a mask. I don't need to stay at home, and my kids kids should go to school. We don't need to be alone. I just want my freedom now. The Constitution will show us how. Make my dreams come true. Baby,
Mercifully cut off, I guess. I mean, this is an adult person who sat at home and wrote this song. This is why the state of entertainment is in such disarray. Because this is what's going on at a local government town hall meeting. That is better than most radio shows do in terms of parody songs. That used to be a spot, like everything had boxes that you put it in. Now it's all just one thing, whether it's the news or a local government town hall or Late Night with Jimmy Fallon or Sam Roberts Now. It's all just one. It's all the same thing. There's no lines of delineation. There's no difference between anything anymore. It's all just a thing. Existence. Anything public. It's just all one thing. And we try to mix it all into a pot. We take it all as seriously as anything else. I mean, for the love of God. This is the type of stuff that should make you scared. That this is what's going on. And people are going like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's the way it should be. Poor Mariah Carey. This is her life's work. And this is where we're left with it. It's scary.
I'm true. In the state of emergency and acknowledge early treatment.
I mean, she feels good about it too. Unless it's that like false confidence that you have to lay on real thick. You know, like when you realize, like you play it out in your head and you go, no, I'm definitely going to do this. This is going to be a hit. This is going to be great. And then the minute that you're playing that instrumental on your phone into the microphone, you realize how stupid this is. I can't believe I'm really about to do this. So then you just have to really inflate that bravado. You have to really inflate that sense of no, this is still good because you know it's not, but you're in too deep now. So you've got two choices. Either commit 100% or do what would somehow be even worse. Don't commit all the way. Be flaky about it. At least she's not being flaky. I mean, oh my God. Like, I feel like so many people are going to be dealing with this, like when they see their family over the holidays. People that want to talk about this. And really want to give their opinion about it too. Really want to let people know, here's what should be happening. Here's the real deal. Whether it's, you know, either side. Either side. It's like it's a bunch of idiots talking. It's craziness. It is absolutely nuts. Cal Lake says, no, she believes in this song. I know she believes in what she wrote. I'm wondering if she realizes that the performance is rough. Although, I mean, while you watch it, like halfway through, she really starts to feel it. Like she really starts to get into it. She's like, this is good. Just having fun here. Just having a good time. Look at, I mean, that is the face of somebody with soul. I would imagine that she's married. You know, she's got a kid. Seems like she lives a fairly traditional life. Do you think her husband had to sit there and listen to the rehearsals? Hey, I'm working on it. What do you think about this lyrics? What do you think about this as a lyrical selection? Should I change this? Does this rhyme with that? Oh my God, honey, please don't do this. Please don't do this. But it's probably at the point now where it's like, it's easier to just let her go. It'll be easier to just let her do her thing and not be bothered by it. So that's what I'm saying. if you're Jim Breuer, regardless of what you see happening, regardless of how you feel about it, if you're sitting there and somehow your audience has become this, part of me has to believe he's like, at some point, he's going to be like, maybe I should just go back to joking about the Mets. You know? Maybe that's the way to do this. All right, guys. You know the rule of Sam Roberts now. Every super chat gets read. So any more super chats that you want to... husband is a big Weird Al fan. Yeah, probably. Any other super chats you want to get them in now. I am reading some of these. Clarity Golden says, no, she's high and feeling great, Sam. I love it. Maybe. Rob Thompson says, good evening, Sam. Good evening, hot dog. No hot dog. Looking forward to copping the cool grays tomorrow. These cool grays? Hello. Foot Locker app shift is the backup. R.I.P. Virgil Abloh. R.I.P. Virgil Abloh is right. Daniel Price says, no, if she were high, she'd have cared way less and been dancing. That's probably true. That's probably true. I would hope so anyway. But who knows? I don't know anything about anything. I'm just here to comment on what I see. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel right now. Don't forget to tell your loved ones about this fabulous, fabulous show we've got. Leave a comment below. Hit like. Smash the like button already. There's some likes on there, but you could do better than that. Smash the like button. And if you're looking for some more content after we go off the air tonight, a new episode of Prima Volta was uploaded yesterday. Ian Fidance and myself take a look at the season 2 finale of The Sopranos. So you can just click around here on the YouTube page and find the new episode of Prima Volta. You can also subscribe to our other YouTube channels. YouTube.com/Notsam Wrestling is where all of the wrestling content associated with Not Sam is housed. Just uploaded a new interview with R-Truth that is phenomenal. He was right here in the Not Sam studio. And YouTube.com/Sam Roberts Now is our clips channel. So if you're looking for just the topics and stuff, go over to the clips channel. And for the most part, everything gets uploaded over there, and it's a good time. Subscribe to all the channels. I appreciate you all. Don't forget, I'm going to cheers with you later. And we'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody.